Charles Dickens faced hardship from a young age, working as a child laborer in a shoe polish factory at 12. 2 years later, his family was evicted for not paying rent, which forced him to drop out of school and start an apprenticeship and work to support himself. He worked as a stenographer, interviewer, and reporter, gradually learning to write. During that time, he also had dramatic talent. An illness that accidentally ended his acting career preserved a writer who would go on to influence the world. Dickens' personal story resembles that of David Copperfield in his novels. His works mirror his era and society. He sympathized with the poor, the suffering, and the oppressed. Dickens used his performance talent to read his own works publicly, amplifying the impact of his writing and gaining widespread popularity. He was a rare example of a writer from humble beginnings who was accepted by mainstream society during his lifetime and then stands as a significant historical and cultural legacy. Biography. Charles Dickens was born on February 7, 1812, in Portsmouth, England. He was the second of 8 children in a family facing financial hardships. His father, John Dickens, worked as a clerk at the Navy Pay Office. John was a friendly, hospitable, and generous man to a fault, which led to ongoing financial difficulties. He inspired the character Mr. Micawber in David Copperfield. When Charles was 12, his father was sent to debtor's prison, and young Charles had to leave school to work in a factory. This experience left a lasting impression on him, influencing many of his later works and helping to shape his public image as a champion of the underprivileged and oppressed. Despite facing early hardships, Charles was committed to improving his life. He tried various jobs before achieving success as a writer. As a young man, he was also a talented actor. Unlike many other writers, he often performed public readings of his works, captivating audiences with his dramatic delivery. His readings of A Christmas Carol were especially well received. Although Charles Dickens is celebrated as a literary genius, his works were not without controversy. However, he valued readers' remarks and feelings, which helped him refine his work. That's why his books remain very popular among readers. For example, Charles originally wrote a somber ending for Great Expectations, but after receiving feedback from friends, he later changed it to a more hopeful one. Charles Dickens left behind a vast body of work that profoundly reflects the lives of his time, especially those of the lower classes. Through his vivid storytelling and unforgettable characters, he brought attention to the struggles of ordinary people and the injustices of Victorian society. His works remain popular both then and now. Charles Dickens achieved fame and fortune through his writing. He worked tirelessly, but his family life wasn't happy. When Dickens was 18, he met his first love, Maria Beadnell, who is believed to have served as the model for the character Dora in David Copperfield. Maria's wealthy parents disapproved of the courtship, and she ultimately rejected him coldly. This experience left a deep impression on Dickens, leading him to despise real women and long for idealized versions of them. Later, Dickens fell in love with Catherine and married her in 1836. While this marriage healed the wounds of his first love, it did not bring him happiness. This was partly due to their vastly different thoughts, personalities, and interests, and partly because Dickens longed for an ideal woman, believing that such a lovely and loyal woman was unattainable in real life. Dickens' marriage was unhappy from the beginning, but he got along exceptionally well with Catherine's sister. 16-year-old Mary often visited their home, giving Dickens plenty of chances to spend time with her. He grew very attached to Mary. Some say that Mary represented the ideal woman in his mind. Mary died in his arms after a brief illness in 1837. Unusually for Dickens, he took a break from work for 2 weeks during sad days. Dickens idealized Mary, the character he based on her, Rose Maylie, he found he could no longer kill, as he had planned in his story. Mary also inspired the character of Nell in his novel The Old Curiosity Shop. In 1857, Dickens fell in love with an 18-year-old actress named Ellen Ternan, and this passion would last for the rest of his life. The following year, he and Catherine officially separated, although they never legally divorced. At that time, they had 10 children. On June 9, 1870, Dickens died at 58, taking with him a soul of indomitable idealism and leaving behind a precious legacy as one of the most beloved writers in the history of English literature. Main works. Charles Dickens wrote numerous novels, short stories, and essays that captured the lives and struggles of people in Victorian England. His works often combined humor, drama, and social commentary, making them both entertaining and thought-provoking. He used a realistic style to expose the hypocrisy, greed, pettiness, and cruelty of the upper classes, while passionately and deeply sympathetically depicting the plight of the lower classes, especially women, children, and the elderly. He also celebrated the truth, goodness, and beauty of humanity with idealism and romanticism, yearning for a more just society and a better life. Oliver Twist tells the story of Oliver, an orphan who grows up in a workhouse and later falls into the clutches of a gang of thieves. The book highlights the harsh conditions faced by the poor and the injustices of society. A Christmas Carol is one of Dickens' most famous stories. This novella follows Ebenezer Scrooge, a miserly old man who learns the true meaning of Christmas after being visited by 3 ghosts. It remains a beloved holiday classic. David Copperfield is often considered Dickens' most autobiographical work. This novel follows the life of David Copperfield, from his troubled childhood to his eventual success as a writer. Bleak House delves into the complexities of the British legal system through the story of a long-running court case. It is known for its vivid characters and intricate plot. Hard Times is a sharp social commentary on industrial England, exposing the dehumanizing effects of utilitarianism and factory life. Little Dorrit is a story intertwining personal and financial imprisonment, focusing on a family trapped within the Marshalsea debtors' prison. A Tale of Two Cities is a historical drama of love, sacrifice, and revolution set between London and Paris during the French Revolution. Great Expectations is a coming-of-age story that follows Pip, a young boy who dreams of becoming a gentleman. The novel explores themes of ambition, social class, and redemption. Our Mutual Friend is a dark, complex exploration of greed, social climbing, and identity surrounding a fortune tied to a body found in the Thames.